New York City jail barge to be scrapped, opening space for a new marine terminal. This is from G Captain and it was published on the 2nd of October, 2025. A 625-foot New York City jail barge, moored on the East River in the South Bronx, is finally set to head to scrappers, 2 years after its last prisoners disembarked. The removal will open up valuable maritime property adjacent to the city's wholesale food and beverage distribution centers and allow for construction of a new maritime terminal serving these facilities. The 5-story barge, formerly known as the Vernon C. Bain Center, will be owned by tugs to Louisiana Scrap Metal Recycling in Gibson later in the fall and will be dismantled and its metal recycled. New York City will receive $1.5 million for the barge and benefit from not having to have it hauled away. Removing the barge will open up over 600 feet of pier frontage and a 7.4-acre upland site directly adjacent to the Fulton Fish Market and the Hunts Point Food Distribution Center, the city's main wholesale markets for food and beverage. The EDC says it plans to build a new marine terminal on the site which will accommodate delivery of shipping containers to the market by water and allow for outbound distribution of food products by barge or by moonlighting passenger ferries operating after hours to other locations in the city. The new terminal will be a key node in what the city calls its Blue Highway plan to increase the use of New York's waterways to reduce reliance on truck transportation. Marine access to Hunts Point Complex is currently served only by truck and rail, and has long been a key goal of the program. As with most elements of the Blue Highway plan, however, the benefits will not be immediate. The EDC estimates that before work can begin, the site will require about a 2-year environmental remediation to ease legacy contamination from the Con Edison manufactured gas plant, which occupied the area in the early 1960s. During this cleanup period, the EDC says it will invest $28.3 million to repair the shoreline and expand local greenways. The barge itself was purpose-built for the city in the late 1980s in Alvendale Shipyard in Louisiana at a cost of $161 million, according to a 1992 article in the New York Times. It was brought to this stretch of the shoreline in 1992 as a supposedly temporary facility to house up to 800 inmates and help crowding at nearby Rikers Island. At the time, the city had 4 other barges holding prisoners, according to the Times article. 2 were repurposed Staten Island ferries and 2 were former British troop carriers, but the Bain was the only one newly built to hold prisoners. For the first years of its operation, the Coast Guard required a full-time maritime crew of 3 to be present on the barge. The crew was mainly occupied with maintaining the barge's complicated fire detection system, but the Coast Guard eventually ceased to consider the Bain as an active vessel, eliminating the need for a maritime crew. The Bain Center was decommissioned in October of 2023, after years of complaints of bad conditions that were said to be even worse than on Rikers. And the roughly 500 prisoners housed there at the time were transferred to other jails. Well, I have to say she wasn't much to look at. But I guess that's not the point when it's a floating jail. Either way, she's way past her use-by date, and it's time to be recycled, opening up space for new progress that looks like it's going to cost New York City a whole pile of money just for the cleanup costs. Either way, she's out of there, and I assume New York started building jails on land instead of having them on the river. I have no idea, and I really don't need to find out. All right, guys, there it is. As always, thanks for watching. If you're new here and you like these kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you on the next one.